upon some more aggressive testing by myself, this happened. It's not stage. So we have now got the rust done, completely welded on the 159, but there's two spots we missed that we didn't bother welding, and it was the two front wings, which yeah, wasn't ideal. However, it does mean I'm going to take this opportunity to carbon skin these front wings. Why? Because it'll be cool, that's why. Plus, it's good practice. It's not something I've actually done on this channel yet, but I've been doing it for a while now. Done a couple customer pieces and whatnot, but I'm going to be doing loads of it on the wide body Giulietta. I'm planning on doing the whole front end in carbon fibre. Whether I'm going to end up doing the whole front end in carbon fibre, I don't know, but that's my plan anyway. So the first step in carbon skinning is prepping the surface. Like, this originally had some aftermarket cloverleaf badges put on here. There's the design Giorgio badge at the bottom, and there's a little bit of rust coming in at the bottom. Nowhere near as bad as mine. So I've got a 80 grit on the sander, and we're just going to give it a light blast, mainly to try and get like that bit of residue, 3M tape, and the bit of the rust gone. Just going to use a bit of our Sonax waterless wash, just because I've not washed this panel since I bought it. So it's a bit dirty as well, and this will also just get rid of all the dust from sanding it. Well, you can't say the waterless wash doesn't work, that is dirty. Obviously, don't get me wrong, this isn't no panel wipe, it's not ideal for prepping before paint. But I'm going to leave this to dry in the sun. I mean, it's dry anyway, but I'm going to leave it out in the sun for a little bit. Give it a wipe with some proper panel wipe and start painting. So, we're in the garage now. We've got one wing there, one wing behind me. This wing's lined up with my roll of carbon fibre. Not sure if you can see it on the camera, but I've got a big roll of carbon fibre there. So, I've got some black base coat epoxy here. Hardener, of course, I'm going to be mixing up and starting to lay down. I've ended up not painting them because I don't have any black paint. Shouldn't really matter because I've got black base coat anyway. So I'm going to do both of these, give it about an hour or so, let it start to get a bit tacky, then I'll come back and pull the carbon fibre and lay it over. Try to do it as nice as possible, getting all the crevices, dips and bends and whatnot. And with any luck, it'll look sick. So to get mixing this stuff up, it's super simple. It says on it by weight, 100 grams of base coat, or 100 grams of epoxy with 41 grams of hardener, and it should be right. Now, I think for this, I'm going to go for, normally I've been doing about half recently, but I think I'm going to go for the full 100 to 41 here, because these are quite big panels. So I'm going to take this until the scale says 141. I'm going to mix this for about 2, 3, 4 minutes. Make sure it's all incorporated. You don't want it not mixing fully. Right, I'd say that's good to go. I'm going to sort of try and wipe this bit that's fallen on my hand on. There we go. And then wipe the back of this paintbrush down. Don't want to waste any. And start spreading it about this panel. Making sure to also go along the edges, like the underside, so that I'm able to fold the carbon around it and stick it on the backside. Is it not rubbing? That sounds like it's good. Can you grab my side there? Thank you. Pull it outwards, so like that. Yeah? Go down slowly. Down slowly, down slowly, down slowly. barely made it on this side. Don't worry, that's fine. Yeah, pull it down and across, yeah, just like that. Perfect. Doesn't matter. Things like that aren't too much of a worry because it is breathable, it's a fabric. So, dramatic start. Now we're going to try and cut this to a bit nicer of a shape so that we're not massively overhanging like we are now. Right. Obviously I have gone massively overkill with how big the piece needs to be, but I've got a phobia. I did it once with I tried to do 2 wings in one go, and I cut the carbon. It worked, but I cut the carbon slightly wrong as I did it, and it just wasn't a good time, put it that way. So now I've made one cut, and I can get a proper idea of where everything's sat. I'm going to come along and do a second cut. Now, you can see it's starting to look a little bit more like a panel now. I'm going to sort of just try and dust all this dust off the back of it. I'm sort of just hoping it won't actually be that visible in the resin. It probably won't be, but we'll find out. This is just from the carbon being sat. I should really have a cover for it, I think, but I don't. Now I'm going around making little relief cuts, folding the piece over and plopping the magnet. So, like I mentioned before, the same as when I said about how I tacked the, how I tried to put a bit of resin around the edges of the piece so I can do this, and I can get the carbon fibre laid around the panel. Okay, that's perfect. Calculated that well, didn't we? So,
no, you can get a whole other one.
Yeah, matter. Go over it with this roller now. This will just sort of roll everything into place. Help push any air bubbles out. So we've left it a good while now, and these pieces have started to set fuller. They're all nice and secure, all the carbon around the wings. Like I'm comfortable brushing that there, you know, it's not going to distort it at all. Still trying to fold it around the edges. I've not bought anywhere, you saw me using magnets to hold them in place. Well, I've not bought anywhere near enough magnets. I need to buy loads and loads of them, I reckon. Because they worked really well, but I just didn't have enough to do this whole thing. Hopefully it won't matter too much. Hopefully the pieces will stay tacked enough that it will work anyway. But we shall see as we do it. Again, the bits around, it's me sort of being super OCD, the bits around really do not matter. They won't be seen. Normally, in a carbon scanning process, you know, you just do the front face. I don't need to do all around here. It's me being OCD and just trying to improve and make it as best as I can, really. Even though this is supposed to be the cheap daily, but hey ho, what do you know? Exactly the same as last time. Going to measure out our resin, but the clear stuff this time. I'm not going to put as much in one go. I used 100 last time. I used a full 100. This time I'm going to go for 50 and half the mixture. Just because it was a bit much in these plastic cups last time. A bit over full. I'll get that. 50 on the dot. Beautiful. I have now let all the carbon dry, so we're going to get the Dremel out and cut off all this excess bit of carbon, try and get a bit of a shape to the piece. With the edges now trimmed up a little, going to get on sanding. I've got some, really I kind of want to be using 120, 180 grit, but I've not got any, so we've got 80 grit and then some 320 grit, and I'm just going to hope it works. We'll start sanding. I'll speed this up for you guys because this takes a while. Fully prepped, it's time to get messy with our resin. I'm going to measure out 50 grams of the clear coat and then 20 and a half grams of the hardener. The mixing ratio is obviously 100 to 41, so I'm just halving that purely because these cups aren't actually big enough. So now, with these panels done, resined, I'm going to leave them for about 2 hours, let them become just tacky so it doesn't come off on your finger but it leaves a little fingerprint. Then we can go on to a next layer of resin, do this 3 or 4 times, get a nice thick coat. I'll show you with the torch how they're looking. Torch battery's dying, that's why it's flashing. There we go. Oh, no, one more flash. There we go, yeah. See there how insane the pattern looks on this carbon fibre. And it'll only get clearer and clearer as we carry on. Oh great, bits have fallen off the light and landed in the resin. Oh no. So, here we have our carbon wing. It's not been sanded off last or anything. We've just finished with the last layer of resin. This mask is really uncomfortable. And we have cut all the edges, sanded the edges down just so it's a bit nicer to work with. So now we're going to hit it with a 120 pad, get it as smooth as we can, work our way up through the grits, and then when we get to about 600 we'll start block sanding it so we get it nice and smooth. So, let's do it. So a lot has happened since the last clip, but I've still been working on these carbon panels. Unfortunately this one has a crack, I don't know if you can see it there, right at the bottom here. And although I've repaired it a couple of times, and when I'm trying to flat everything out, I end up keep breaking it. So unfortunately I'm not going to be able to do this panel in this video. So I'm going to go back to basics. I'm going to get some resin on here so it's a stronger fix, and then we shouldn't have this issue. As for the other panel's ready for some lacquer. So let's get that sprayed. I did want to spray them together, but hey ho. Here she is. Thin panel wiped down. Everything, as far as I'm aware, is good to go. So let's get the first light coat on. Definitely clear coat, yeah, not primer. Always corners first, edges first. Right, that is a nice first coat. Is this perfect? Is this panel perfect? No, the carbon's not perfect. I've noticed when I've lacquered, there's a spot there that I should have put a little dab, a black pen. There's the hair that's just gone in that lacquer. I'm not going to pinch it out. I'm not going to waste time and effort doing that. But I'm going to let this coat set a little bit, and we'll get on with a stronger coat and get that real glossy finish. These are going on the workhorse. Might not even PPF them. I just was bored when I made these. Right, so I may have forgot to record me putting that last layer of clear down. There's a couple runs here and there, but this isn't the Giulietta build. This is supposed to be the rough, the rugged, the build that gets stuff done quick, so I'm not too fussed. It's my fault for using cans that were 90% empty and trying to get every last drop out of them. But we're going to let that dry now. And once that's dry, we're going to fit them on the car. Get rid of all this crap. Just been taking off the masking tape on the back of it. I've not got it all because some bits are like resined on and I can't be bothered right now. But here are the carbon skinned wings I've made for this Alfa Romeo 159. They look wild. Let's get them put on. The bonnet up. Oh, it appears to have latched itself. Let's pop the bonnet and then get it up. There we go. There are a couple of bolts that I've kept in. Well, let's get this mounted. I've got some side indicators on the way because we've not got them. They might be in this video depending on when they come. If not, oh well, you guys get the idea. Ooh. Right, let's get them on. Trying to remember how they fit. The crazy, like, okay, it's like that. Okay, I think I see where it all lines up. If memory serves, should be about there. Yeah, so let's get these bolts in, just to hold it in place first. One there, and one here. Oh, that looks mental. This is actually the first big carbon panel I've put on any of my cars. Even like the wide body Giulietta we've got in the background there. That's got nothing big carbon. It's got some little bits, but wow, that looks fucking mental. Oh, this thing's gonna be so cool. I need to turn the wheel to access some of the other bolts. Now you might have noticed she ran then, which last time you guys would have seen, she didn't. She now runs properly. We'll go into that in the next video. But as a thank you for sticking around, you've seen it now runs and drives. The next video will be MOT on the road. But without further ado, let's finish bolting these up, because there's quite a lot of bolts for this thing. And I also need to bolt on, I hope they bolt on from the front and not the back, the clip that clips onto the bumper. How the fuck does this thing bolt on? What? I think that goes there. Yeah. So then that goes there. That slides under there. Might need to mount this with the wing off, you know? Yeah, you definitely do. Or do I? Now that I know what needs to go where, I know that goes in there. And then that wants to hook under there. Hey! That's on-ish, I think. Is that a bolt? Ah, so that's a bolt there and it's supposed to clip as well. However, I've got them two on. So if I just get some bolts and some big washers, I think I can secure that. I'll bring you guys closer so you can see what I mean. I recommend somebody comes and looks at the sex I have created with these carbon wings. It looks fucking wild. How sick does that look? 300 quid car. £1,000 carbon wings. Not too shabby that, is it? Oh shit, yeah. I'm actually gonna close the bonnet so I can make sure it's aligned nice enough. I'm not a stickler on this car for panel gaps by any means. Yeah, I think that'll all sort of line up more when I'm actually doing the top bolts. I don't think these bottom bolts are going to make much difference. Probably attached with the wing off because it's a bit of a pain, but oh well. We want you in there. There we go. And I'm actually going to do it the other way where I put the nice 10mm in the difficult side. I think that's a smarter idea, and then put the awkward one in the easy side. Probably a better idea. That all clips together real nice. So we've now got some, this is why I've turned the wheel. We've got a couple in here. Really awkward ones that fit backwards for some reason. I don't think I can get the impact in there, so I'm going to get a wrench ratchet. Same time, I've got to like pull it out so that it aligns on the door. I'm not sure that's right. It doesn't seem to align at the bottom at all, but it's on. That could be an issue with the resin, where I need to sand down a bit more, which I'm not going to do at the moment. But yeah, let's get back to, there's one up here I can get, nice and easy. That's on. And it's just, get a few more on the top here. Permanent Loctite. The lacquer's not quite fully cured, so I'm putting handprints on it every time I push it hard, but they should buff out, I hope. There is an ALFA one right at the back here that actually requires you to take the bonnet off, so I'm just not going to put that in. As far as I'm concerned, that's not going anywhere. There's a couple in the door. Oof, it just trims it. So, is there any way I can pull the whole thing along easily? I don't think there is now that I've done that one. I'll try, if I loosen them all up a little bit. I mean, I think now that it's, yeah, it's self-clearanced itself, so we should be okay, I think. To me, will do. Something's definitely not right on this top one, but I think instead of me standing here forever and a day adjusting it, I think you guys want a quick little look of how cool it is, and then we'll end this video off then. Let's get the bonnet down and get some clips. Right, I can't put the other wing on unfortunately because it's still drying from the lacquer, but we've got one wing on. Look at how cool it is. This, when we get this car painted Montreal green, is going to look insane. I think this might be the only, I know it's only carbon skinned, but the only carbon winged 159, definitely in the UK, I'm pretty sure, possibly the world. I know there's some crazy 159 and Brera builds across the pond in Europe, but if you have enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, share the video with your friends, and make sure you subscribe for next video when this goes on the road. Thanks for watching.